someone use your child's disability against them. I woke up at 2 a.m. to find my autistic son in the kitchen, staring at the locked pantry. Buddy, what are you doing? Counting, he whispered. Mr. Bleak says warriors count to 10,000 when they're hungry. It makes the hunger go away. The thing was, Theo takes everything literally. It's part of his autism. He doesn't understand when adults aren't being serious. I called Mr. Bleak the next morning. Hey, this is Tom Litt, Theo's dad. I wanted to ask about some things Theo's been saying about food. Mr. Bleak laughed. Oh gosh, what's he telling you now? You know how these kids are, especially the ones who claim to have autism. Always looking for attention. That stung. He's been refusing meals because he says warriors have to earn. Look, his tone shifted. I served 3 tours in Iraq. I know the difference between real disabilities and kids who've been coddled. He paused. If Theo can't handle basic mental toughness exercises, maybe he belongs in the special class with the other pretenders. Well, it was easier to doubt myself than believe a teacher would hurt my son, so I just hung up. But Theo kept getting thinner. His lunchbox came home untouched every day. When I asked why, he'd just say, didn't earn it, and go silent. At pickup on Friday, another mom pulled me aside. My daughter says Theo stays in at lunch for advanced training. Mr. Bleak locks the door and covers the window. She swears she heard Theo crying once. The following Tuesday, I got the call. Theo had collapsed during PE. By the time I reached the hospital, he was conscious but hooked up to monitors, his face pale against the white sheets. The ER doctor pulled me aside, her expression grim. Mr. Litt, when we examined Theo, we found something concerning. He's severely malnourished. Has he been eating at home? My stomach dropped. His lunchbox is always empty. He's lost 12 pounds. His blood work shows he hasn't been eating properly for weeks, maybe longer. She studied my face. I was about to answer when Theo, who I thought was sleeping, spoke up. Mr. Bleak says warriors eat only when they earn it. The room went silent. What do you mean, earn it? The social worker asked gently. Theo's eyes stayed closed. If you can't hold your breath for 2 minutes, you didn't earn breakfast. Mr. Bleak says I'm special because I follow the real rules. My hands started shaking. Theo, when was the last time you earned a meal? Tuesday. I held my breath for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. It was Friday. The social worker was writing frantically. Theo, does Mr. Bleak check if you've eaten? Theo's voice was small and shaky. He weighs me every Monday. He said I'm winning. Winning what? The warrior challenge. First one under 70 pounds becomes a real soldier. The others are just civilians. I called the other parents that night. Their kids confirmed it. Mr. Bleak joked to the whole class about starving themselves, and he knew my son would be the only one to take it seriously. I went to the principal the next morning with everything. She smiled sadly. Mr. Bleak is a veteran. He's unconventional, yes, but the kids love him. Theo is probably just taking things too literally. I'm sure you know how autistic children can be. He's targeting my son specifically because, without proof that Mr. Bleak is directly telling Theo not to eat, my hands are tied. Maybe Theo needs more support than a mainstream classroom can provide. The threat was clear. If I push this, they'd kick Theo out for being too autistic for regular school, and with that on his record, no other school would take him. I tried the police. The officer barely glanced at the notebook. A teacher talking about warrior mindset isn't illegal. Has he physically prevented your son from eating? No? Then this is a parenting issue. The next morning, I followed Theo to school and watched through the classroom window. The other kids were eating snacks while Theo sat rigidly at his desk, hands folded. Mr. Bleak walked over and whispered something. Theo nodded, his face glowing with pride. After school, Theo collapsed again, back in the hospital. The doctor was blunt. One more incident and we're calling CPS for medical neglect. But it's his teacher. Then remove him from that teacher's class. I just smiled, because all I needed was a confession from Mr. Bleak, and I knew exactly how to get it. I called my brother Diego, a construction worker who did 2 years for violent self-defense. Remember what Dad used to do to get us to tell the truth? Yeah, I need to know what this teacher is telling my son. Silence. Then, teachers work late on Fridays, right? Alone? On the day, Diego brought zip ties and a baseball bat. For show, he said. People talk faster when they're scared. I didn't care about my job anymore. I didn't care about assault charges. My son was dying, convinced that starvation made him special, and the man who did this was about to explain exactly why. Just remember, Diego said as we walked toward the school, we're not leaving until he tells us everything. Full story on channel, link below.